16 to 20 weeks. That's typically how far along a woman is in her pregnancy when she has the opportunity to find out the sex of her child. 16 to 20 weeks. That's 4 to 4.5 months, give or take. Before a fetus is even halfway through gestation, parents have the opportunity to begin thinking about how their child's life is going to pan out, whether they should buy baby dolls or action figures, whether they should paint their kid's nursery pink or blue. Now, 4.5 months is 1/138th. Let that sink in. 1/138th of the average life expectancy in 2017 in America, and we're already telling unborn children who we think they should be. Now, we as a society are obsessed with gender. It's everywhere we go. It's everywhere we look. Think about it. I mean, clothes, toys, behaviors, games, scents, like candle scents, even colors are gendered. But it goes deeper, and that's what I'm here to talk about today. So, before I get into things, it's important to note that when I refer to sex, I am talking about biological factors and who someone is biologically. And when I refer to gender, I am talking about who someone perceives themselves to be, as well as gender roles and other cultural factors. So, now that's out of the way, let's get into it. Now, for most people, their sex is announced at birth. There's a small subset of people who are born intersex with primary sex characteristics that are rather ambiguous, but for most people, it's a binary system, either male or female. Now, binaries have their upsides and their downsides. For example, they're magnificent at explaining things. When you're little, you learn about big and small, happy and sad, and while those simple explanations may suffice for a while, eventually you'll learn that there are emotions outside of happy and sad, and that objects can be big or small, or they can be medium. They can be somewhere in the middle. Not everything falls into one of two categories. Our world is not black and white, and that's a lot like how gender works as well. Now, we can think of gender on a spectrum, with male on one side and female on the other. Most people fall into one of those two categories, so that's how our world is organized. We assign behaviors and clothes and colors to each gender. Now, today, in 2017, most people understand that women don't have to stay in the kitchen and that men don't have to work on cars in order for a society to thrive. In fact, the general trend seems to be going the opposite way. But that's not how it's always been. That's a pretty recent idea. And I sort of understand where proponents of the, for lack of a better term, traditional value gender roles are coming from. I mean, gender roles help maintain order in a crazy complicated world. But it gets messy when you tell a little girl that she can't be a scientist because science, math, engineering, leave those to the boys. And when you tell a young boy that it's shameful to be a nurse because that's too feminine and he's not a real man if he becomes a nurse. That's where things get tricky. That's where you limit potential. Now, imagine if Marie Curie had listened to the people who told her to pursue a more feminine profession. Our world may be drastically different. So, while men may have testosterone in their bodies that helps them to build muscle, they aren't born liking the color blue, and suggesting that a girl is going to want to wear a dress is about as ridiculous as saying that if you're born with blonde hair, you are born with a deep desire to wear corduroy overalls. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. Now, if you were to guess what I want you to take away from this speech, you'd probably say something like, be yourself. And that is very true. I do want you to be yourself. I want you to live authentically, always. But that's not the one thing I want you to take away from this. And it's not about gender roles either. The one thing that I would want you to take away from this is that we need to let other people be themselves too. Everyone, regardless of who they are. It's easy to tell someone that you agree with or someone that you're friends with to be themselves. That is so easy. But it's hard to tell someone that you're kind of iffy about that they should be themselves too. And that's what we need to start doing. Everyone has the right to be themselves, even if who they are differs from the norm. Even if the person they are isn't who you think they should be. Thank you.